Alright guys, it's time to wrap up another project. I've slowly been acquiring parts for, well, if you haven't figured it out by now, Marble Madness. This is a Reproduction Marble Madness control panel that one of the users on KLOV or Clov put together. He had this reproduced at a shop near him and it turned out really nice. It's powder coated black and it's even got, everything we need on the bottom too, and the holes look like they all line up pretty well, but we'll be able to tell as soon as we put that control panel overlay on top of it. So we're going to install the control panel overlay from Phoenix Arcade, and I can tell that right now. So we've got the two trackball holes, they line up, and the holes here for the cone buttons also line up, and that's all we need. So we're going to go ahead and install this and see if we can get the control panel together and Marble Madness finally up and running. Before I install any vinyl, let me just show you guys what I use. You've got some masking tape to hold things down. I've got a felt edged squeegee that I like to use, and if you don't have a felt edged squeegee, what you can do is when you are removing the backing off of whatever you're installing, you can use the wax paper backing as the same as felt. And the reason I use these is just because there's no pre-mask over the entire control panel overlay. Sometimes what they'll do is when you're installing side art, this will be all covered in a giant masking tape like thing, and that just kind of helps protect the surface while you're installing and makes it easier to install. But when you don't have that, the felt edge or the wax paper backing is the way to go. Before I do anything, I make sure my surface is clean, and I do that just by wiping it down real quick with some denatured alcohol. And you don't need to go crazy on it, but just remove any oil or wax that has been built up on there. Denatured alcohol dries really quick, which is nice. There we go. One easy thing to do when you're installing control panels that have buttons is to use the buttons as a way to line it up. So I've got my cone buttons here that I robbed off of my millipede control panel while I search for another set of cone buttons, but we'll use these to help hold down our control panel artwork. So let's go ahead and put our control panel overlay on, and then we'll take our cone button here and we'll go through, get this lined up. We don't need it on tight, we just need it there to kind of line everything up. Alright, so we like to check, make sure that when we lay it out flat, our holes line up for our trackballs, which they do. And what I'll do is I'll go ahead and I'll put down some masking tape just to kind of hold it in place for now. And I think because we've got the roll on the end here, we're not going to go from left to right, we're going to go from top to bottom so that we can roll the edge over on this, and we'll see how well that sticks. We may need to use a little bit of heat, but hopefully not. And we'll go from there and install this control panel overlay. So let me go ahead and get some other things ready. So I went ahead and taped on the control panel on the edges just to kind of help pull it out flat and make sure that everything was nice and straight. And then we're going to determine, hey, should we go forward or backwards? I think I'm going to go forward first, and I'll take these cone buttons out and we will go from there and lay it out. Alright, let's go ahead and peel the backing off, and we'll cut it off with some scissors, and we'll use our felt edge squeegee to lay it down real quick. And I just like to check and make sure any dust that was on here is gone. We'll give it one quick wipe. And then we just go ahead and I'll lay this down. I'll go right up the middle. And there's that half. Then we'll pull the tape off and go ahead and do the bottom half and roll it around the edge. Now let's go ahead and take off the back half here. And we'll lay that down too. The nice thing about this laminate is it's so stiff. It prevents getting bubbles, which is nice. So the trick to dealing with any of these curves is you start in the middle and you work your way out. And sometimes it might just be easier to use a thumb to get it started. Notice I'm kind of starting at the curve and going towards the edge and working it out. Then we'll go back over it with the squeegee. That's felt leaving mark. Let's get that out. It's not leaving marks, it's shedding because it's laminate. We'll clean that up. No problem. It's got a little bit of a texture to it. This wax one will be a little bit nicer. And there we go. We'll clean up that leftover stuff from the felt. And we'll be good to go. So there we go. There's our Marble Madness control panel. Put in the cone buttons, put in the trackballs, get it wired up, and we're ready to go. Let's go ahead and put those cone buttons in. There we go. I feel like they should sit higher. They're not sitting in all the way. I'll take a look at that, but there we go. There we go. There's some cone buttons. And next we need to get the hardware for the trackball and install the trackball. So here's the trackball I got. I decided to try the illuminated ones. If I don't like it, I'll change it out. But these are the Happ control trackballs here, and they are from, I got these from Twisted Quarter. I think you can also get them at Arcade Shop, but nice new ones. They roll great. We'll go ahead and make sure that it's all installed and whatnot. So they should sit in here. I don't know if I need this plate or not, but obviously the red goes on the other side, but there we go. So let's go ahead and get the trackballs installed. First thing we should probably do is punch out where the holes are, so we'll do that with an X-Acto knife. So when I'm punching out holes here for hardware, I just take my X-Acto knife and I go in and I do a little X where they go. That way. So my Atari cone buttons weren't sitting quite flush, and it didn't even dawn on me, but when you put the control panel overlay on, it blocks the little nubs here. So let's see if we can zoom in and you can see that. So these little nubs here end up getting covered by the control panel overlay that we just put on. So I'm going to go ahead and we'll trim those out, and then the cone buttons should actually end up sitting flush. there we go. Those nubs, those grooves there are cut out, and if you look at the cone button here, there's a couple little nubs here. There's one right here, and that's what was getting in the way with the control panel overlay. So now they should sit in there nice and tight, and the button will fit right. Once these are clipped in, they sit in there just like that, and you can actually come in from the back and screw in your button part. And then when it's screwed in, it should sit above the cone. Let's see. There we go. Now you can hit it. Before it was flush with the top, so you couldn't even hit the button. But that makes sense now. Alright, go ahead and do this other one. There we go. And that's that. Now we're gonna go ahead and put in the 2 trackballs. Alright, so this is gonna be some trial and error here. The bolts you want to use some carriage bolts. These are 3-inch long carriage bolts, and with, I think it was 3/16 was the diameter here, and you end up putting a lock nut on the back of those. But anyway, when you're putting in the trackball, it should have a direction marked towards the monitor. Now in this case, the monitor is facing towards the wall, because this is what you would see. And those are the 2 cone buttons right there. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to put this in, and hopefully it lines up and everything works right. I think I have seen that sometimes the wiring on here isn't quite right for Marble Madness, so we're going to go ahead and we'll try it out as is, and then if we need to change it, we'll change it. But there we go. So monitor is facing this way. We're going to go ahead and put that in like this. And this is the illuminated trackball. I thought I would give it a whirl before, see if I like it. If not, we'll throw a regular plain red trackball in. So let's go ahead and get these lined up as best we can. Alright, let's get some nuts out and we'll put it in and see how we go. Alright, so we got our 4 nuts on. I didn't put the lock ones on right this second. I'll do that after I know everything is good. Go ahead and we'll tighten these up. Hopefully get these carriage bolts to sink in a little bit. Now let's take a look on the other side and see if it looks okay. There we go. That's in. We gotta fix the control panel where it pushed through here. It wasn't even, but we'll go ahead and we'll take care of that. And that looks okay so far. So let's go ahead and do the other one. Here's the blue trackball, and monitor facing that way, so we'll flip it over and it'll go like that towards the wall. And this is the illuminated one as well. And so let's go ahead and put this in. Looks like it was manufactured on August 23rd of 2016. So, half a year old. Not bad. Alright. Let's see if we can get this in. Alright, let's go ahead and tighten those up. I'll do that off camera. Alright, the next thing to take a look at is the control panel wiring harness. This is a Reproduction wiring harness, and this was done by Level 99 on Clav. And it looks like he did a really nice job with it. It's got all the factory style connectors on here. And we also have, let's see, we've got the connectors over here for the two trackballs and the ground, and then we also have the player 1 and 2 cone buttons over here that are illuminated. So let's go ahead and see if we can get that figured out. I'm going to go check the schematics to make sure I've got everything correct. Figure out which one is player 1 and which one is player 2. Alright, so let's bust out our reading glasses here and take a look at the schematic for the wiring there. So we've got those two big red connectors that go to the main board. That's these on the schematics. And what I were trying to figure out is the player 1 and the player 2 start buttons. So if we look close, let's see, we've got player 1 start here, player 2 start there, and we're looking to put the brown that goes to the actual button part, and the orange goes on the LED. Okay, and then let's see, the yellow is for the player 2 switch, and then the blue here, let's see, that's for the LED, and the red is the 5 volts that comes into both LED switches. Then we've got our black ground here. So let's see if we can make sense of that and figure that out and put it, connect our wiring harness to everything. Alright, here we go. Let's see if we can figure this out. So this is player 1 and this is player 2. This lead right here, that is our ground for the switch. So we're going to take black here. Let's see if we can get that on. It's hard to do with those trackballs in there. Let's see. Okay, there's one. And here's the other one. Those new connectors are nice and tight. And then let's see, we should do, so player 1 is here, and that one is going to be brown. So let's make sure, here's the brown. I think this middle one here is the normally open. There you go. Okay, and then let's see, the yellow is the one, it is in this loom, which is good for this switch. Okay. And then we've got the orange for the LED to do, the red that powers both of the LEDs, and the blue for the LED. Now my only question is I couldn't see on here if it mattered which one at least it went on. I don't know. Let's see. Alright, I think this left side here is the ground and the other side is the power over here. So we're going to try that. We're going to keep it consistent and we'll hopefully see if that works. So that's what we'll do. So for the ground, that would be this colored blue one here, and that's the player 2 side. That's like that switching ground to turn it on and off, make it blink and all that. Let's go ahead and put that on if there's enough room here. Alright, let me fuss with this and we'll come back when it's all done. Alright, so this is how we think it goes. So we've got the ground for both the player 1 and player 2 switches. They're color matched per the schematic. And we think that this is the ground for the LED and the power for the LED. Ground, power. I'm not sure if the polarity matters. We'll find out. Hopefully it doesn't. And we'll go from there. Alright, next step is to wire up the 2 trackballs to their respective connectors. So let's see here. My schematic doesn't tell me which color I need where, so let's see if we can figure it out. Hold on one second. Alright, here's the guess based on, I don't know, experience. Solid color, it's probably going to be player 1, and this one will probably be player 2 with the stripes. I'm guessing that this is also player 1 because the player 1 for the start switch had the the extra power coming from player 2 and then jumping over to player 1. So if we keep with that model, red being the 5 volts that the trackball needs, coming back over to player 1. So player 2, player 1. So let's see if that works, and we'll go from there. New connectors are always so stiff. I guess it means they'll work well. Alright. Alright. We'll go ahead and finish this up and then bring it over to the cabinet and try it out. So here is the Roadrunner cartridge that I pulled out of the cabinet. Let's see, there it goes. It says Roadrunner. And this is what it looks like for the most part. It's got the 2 wedge connectors on it and a bunch of ROM chips. And here is the Marble Madness board that I picked up back in December with an old tag on it that says Marble Madness. That sticker's gone, if there ever was one on there. But there we go, here is the Marble Madness board. Now, I will tell you that getting these things in and out is kind of a pain. So they come in here, and there's 4 screws holding them on. So you've got 1 in each of the 4 corners. And if your cartridge has been in there for a long time, it's going to take a little bit of force to get it out. And you don't want to break that board or crack it or anything like that. So just be careful taking it out, and it is a little bit of work to get it in there. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put in the Marble Madness cartridge there, and we'll fit it down there into the main board, and what we'll do is we'll slide up into this edge here and the one in the back. Alright, so I've been playing with these control panels and the trackballs here, trying to get the trackball to be in the right direction. As I said earlier, there was possibly an issue with the newer trackballs and how they would orient themselves on the game. So I managed to get this left side all set. Basically what happened is directions were inverted the way they should have been. You know, they say you can swap wires and whatnot, and you should be able to get things all set. But I'll show you what I did. But first, let me show you what's going on. I've got a small graphic issue. I'm not sure if it's my power supply or I just need to reseat some ROMs and the board. But let me show you what's going on first. So let me go ahead and turn the game on. We'll see where we're at. Alright, so if you go into the test mode and you go to the motion object test, you should be able to test each trackball. Now, if you watch this square right there, it should move. And now if I move this trackball up, it should go up. If I move it down, it should go down. If I go left, it goes left and right and right. That's the way it should be. Now you can test the other trackball as well. So what you do is you just kind of go in here and go, oh, I'm going up, but it's going left. And this is the factory setting from Happ. And if I go down, it goes right. And if I go right, it goes up. And if I go left, it goes down. So things are kind of backwards as far as what they should be. They're not even inverted, it's just like everything's in the wrong place. So what we're going to go ahead and do is I'll show you what I did to get everything squared away, and we'll see if we can make it how it should be. Alright, so here we go. Here is the control panel, and I'm just going to flip it over so you can see where everything is. This is the blue side that works, and the red side that has the directions all screwed up. So let's flip it over, and I'll kind of show you what's going on here. Now this is exactly how I had mounted them per the, you know, make sure it's facing the same way the monitor is and blah blah blah. So this is the working one, and what I ended up doing, the short version is, I ended up swapping both of these, and I think I also needed to flip the two outside wires on both to make it work. And now I'll show you what I mean when I go over to the other side here. So if we look at this, let's see, my wire with the yellow, let's see, I'll pull these out, I'll pull the two out so you can see. So here are the two of the same wires. This right side is factory, and the left side is the one I swapped. If you look at it, you know, just so you can tell, you know, here's the, you know, it's a lip that catches it. The one on the left has the outside wires, the yellow and the green, flipped. Whereas the yellow is on the left here, and the yellow is on the right here. So the yellow should be on the left, and it needs to go into the right side optic board. Now these are the optic boards that are red, and then when you plug this in back in here, this will work. So that's that side. So we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to flip the two wires on here, the yellow and the green, and we'll go ahead and then swap this from the optic board on this side to the optic board on the other side. So I'm going to go ahead and swap the two wires here. This is pretty easy to do. I just take a little flathead Phillips, and if you go in from this side, what you do is you just push down the little metal lever in here, and sometimes what it is easier to do is you push them forward, push down on the little spring, metal spring there, and these slide right out. That was on the left, and now we're going to put it over to the other side. Do the same thing with the green. And the reason we're doing the yellow and green is because that's what controls the axis for the trackballs, as the red and the black are the 5 volts and the ground for those optic boards. Okay. And then we'll swap. Yellow will go on this side. They just push them back in and they'll click in. With the side that connects to the pin, that's going to be down. And there we go. And we'll leave that out because this is going to go over to the opposite side. Let's go ahead and do the other side. So here is the connector for the other optic board. We're going to do the same thing where we swap the two outside wires. We're going to swap the purple with the blue, and we'll go ahead and do it the same way. So you just stick your flathead screwdriver in there, and these pop right out. Hopefully I can do it quicker than I did the last one. There we go. And then swap over to the other side. So blue is on the left. Now purple is on the right. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is, this connector was on this side. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to put it on this side now. So we're going to swap sides. Alright, let's see here. So you may need to create a little bit of slack. That's that side. And we'll put this one over here. And this way you can avoid rotating the trackballs. There are some guys who found that the only way they could do this was to take the whole trackball mount and rotate it 90 degrees. Well, by swapping these, you're essentially doing the same thing. Now what we'll go ahead and do is we'll plug it back in and we'll test to make sure that it's all working. So real quick, just so you can see how everything is. So this is my left side trackball, and if I flip this over, that's the blue one with the player 1 and 2 start. They're now towards me versus towards the monitor, but the left is still on the left. So when you look at this, this is the wire with the yellow and green on the ends, and yellow is on top. And then on the other side, let's see here. There it is. This is the blue wire right here. Kind of hard to see. And the purple wire is now on the bottom. This is, they ended up getting flipped, and then the wires were flipped. Pretty easy to do, and you don't need any special tools to do that. So let's go ahead and plug it in and make sure everything works. Alright, so inside the switch test mode, let's go ahead and test the two trackballs. We've got them both the same, and we'll go ahead and make sure that they're both going the directions they need to go. So go through. Oops, went past it. Alright. Alright, there we go. So left side should be up, down, left, right. Alright, that's good. Let's test the right side. So up, down, let's go back up, to the right, to the left, right, left. So they're both lined up. So what we did is we ended up swapping the two end wires on each connector, and then we also ended up swapping the connectors for each side, and that seemed to do the trick to get everything lined up for the trackballs, the Happ trackballs in Marble Madness.